We present a systematic study of visual explainability methods for convolutional neural networks. In many decision-critical settings, users need to understand why a model produced a decision. Visual explanations are used to highlight regions in the input image that are important for the model's prediction. But evaluating such explanations is difficult. Visual inspection is useful but subjective, while quantitative metrics may fail to capture all aspects of explanation quality. We have conducted a comparative experimental study of visual explanation methods for CNN image classification, analyzing CAM-based methods, LRP and CLRP variants, and DFF explanations. We have also proposed two CAM-based methods, Hires RP-CAM and EIGENLAYER-CAM. We provide a taxonomy aimed to structure the methods evaluated in the study. The taxonomy separates class activation mapping methods into gradient-based and gradient-free approaches. It also separates relevance propagation, including the proposed Hires RP-CAM, and matrix factorization, including the proposed EIGENLAYER-CAM. Hires RP-CAM is proposed to address a limitation of CAM methods. The spatial resolution of the explanation is constrained by the resolution of the target convolutional layer, often the last convolutional layer. The method begins with importance assignment from a CAM-based method. Relevance propagation is then applied backwards toward an earlier target layer, increasing the spatial resolution of the explanation. EIGENLAYER-CAM is introduced to expand the strengths of EIGEN-CAM and layer-CAM. The final explanation is computed as a weighted sum of the scaled activations, using the first right singular vector coefficients. Compared with EIGEN-CAM, EIGENLAYER-CAM includes gradient information and is therefore class discriminative. The evaluation framework combines several datasets, architectures, and metrics. We evaluate faithfulness using average drop and increase in confidence, perturbation behavior using insertion and deletion, an aggregated overall score, and localization using the proportion score. Our proposed refinement for insertion and deletion evaluation uses pixels from an adversarial example generated from the original input as the complementary source for insertion, deletion. This produces smoother confidence curves and a more stable evaluation of feature importance. Comparison of CAM explanations generated for the same ImageNet sample using ResNet34 and VGG16. We can observe that VGG models tend to produce more concise explanations with a stronger focus on specific input features. The same explanation method may highlight different spatial regions depending on the model's internal representation. Hires RP-CAM produces sharper and more focused maps than several LRP-based methods. LRP and relevance CAM do not show strong perceptual differences between target classes, and relevance CAM often assigns importance broadly, including background information. By contrast, Hires RP-CAM gives a sharper outline of the target object and focuses more clearly on the parts relevant to the class being explained. The figure on the right shows behavior across intermediate layers. Methods such as GradCAM and ScoreCAM can be noisy in shallower layers, while LRP-based CAM methods, including Hires RP-CAM, generate cleaner and more accurately focused salient regions. Deep feature factorization can visualize internal concepts learned by the model and can associate those concepts with spatial regions in the image. The figures on the left show DFF explanations for different numbers of factors. The figures on the right show DFF behavior when several instances of the same class appear in the input. Comparison of EIGEN-GradCAM, EIGENLAYER-CAM, and Hires RP-CAM at intermediate layers of a pre-trained VGG16 model. This highlights the differences in the ability of these methods to localize salient features within the model's hierarchical representation. ScoreCAM generally outperforms other methods on average drop and increase in confidence and shows competitive performance across configurations. Because ScoreCAM constructs its weights by evaluating the change in model confidence after masking the image with activation maps, it is naturally aligned with evaluation metrics based on model confidence. When the explanation map construction is modified to retain the top 50% of pixels and replace the rest with a blurred version of the image, the faithfulness metrics reward more precise heat maps. LRP-based methods, including Haier's RP-CAM, show strong performance, especially in shallower layers. For insertion and deletion evaluations using black and blurred pixel replacements, RP-CAM and Haier's RP-CAM obtain the highest scores across the tested datasets. These methods produce focused explanations that prioritize the most salient regions early in the insertion-deletion process. The two tables correspond to insertion and deletion scores computed using the proposed adversarial fill-in strategy. Full grad CAM outperforms other methods across different datasets and architectures, as they have a weaker dependency on highly specific input features. The adversarial fill-in adjustment favors explanations that are less affected by pixel perturbations and that better highlight salient zones containing features relevant to the final prediction. Proportion score for localization on a subset of the ILS-VRC validation set containing images with a single object of interest and a corresponding bounding box. Eigen-grad CAM and the proposed eigen-layer CAM achieve the strongest localization scores across the tested architectures. Our conclusion is that no single CAM method universally surpasses the others across all evaluation perspectives. The quality of an explanation depends strongly on the evaluation protocol, the model architecture, the dataset, and the specific priority of the application, such as faithfulness, localization, robustness, or interpretability.